right, going live in 3, 2, 1. Well, this is TNZ episode number 22 with Tina. Hi, Tina. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
So you know, Tina, this is the first episode, a video of any kind for over a week on this channel. So I didn't upload any.
Wow.
So the whole, for those who are my fans who are watching, there hasn't been any videos for the whole week because as Tina already knows, there was a big snowstorm where I live, and it basically crippled the area for a few days, and I was just the power was out until Friday this past week, so I had no electricity for 4 days, and I had the generator for the last 3 days, but no running water, so I was living on bottled water for brushing my teeth and cleaning as best I could. So. And I have a couple of pets that are still kind of recovering. I'm more recovered right now. Saturday was the last day for my recovery. I was still aching a little bit I put the generator away, and that I had to make sure I drained all the oil and gas out of it, so it was all dry, nothing was left in it, and that was the last of my ordeal. So today I finally feel much better. Saturday I was still just resting, not doing anything. So anybody who's wondering, we got a lot of highs on the comments there. Hi, everybody. If you're wondering why there's no videos, I'll upload more videos very soon. But for the last week, that's why there's been no videos. So.
Yeah, really glad you're okay because I knew just kind of like, you were doing your own thing. I hadn't heard from you or whatever. But I had no idea it was that bad. And yeah, I'm just glad that you're like okay actually. So
Before we go too far, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off there. Before we go too far, we have a friend who's watching. Her name is Sherry. So hi to Sherry if she's watching this right now. So
Hey,
Sherry's the one who recommended the movie that we're going to review tonight, Winchester. So.
Oh, nice.
And we got a whole bunch of comments. Let me see so far. I got lots of highs. Let me skip through here. See, it's fine, man. Take a break. Thank you.
Yeah, always good to do though. Just mentally, world happening. So yeah, it's nice though. Fans support you, and you've got some really really nice fans.
Yeah. Stay safe and thank you. And then I was under a blizzard warning of 12 feet of snow. Is that even possible?
Wow. Oh, I'm curious, like where that is. That is like, you can't even open the door. You can't even climb out of like the top floor window with 12 feet.
I'm curious
even open the upper windows. Wow.
I'm wondering if that's like lake effect snow, because I know lake effect snow, like in upstate New York, can be really bad. So like really deep snow, and especially with the snow drifts, you can get really deep snow. So I'm curious, Xavier, where you're located at, where you got the 12 feet of snow.
Woof.
So were you affected by any of the snow, or how was it where you were?
Not at the same period of time you were. That the snow wave that you got didn't really affect the Midwest area, but actually today there was lake effect snow in the Great Lakes and Cleveland. My car was going like this a little bit, and that is really tough to drive in because it's kind of thing where you're like, oh, I know I can do this, but then your car kind of slides a little bit, and you're like white knuckles on the wheel, like trying to make sure that you keep it under control. I like to think that I'm a good driver under bad weather. I really think I am. So so I handled it fine, but lake effect is no joke. No joke.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah, I've heard stories of it being like up to at least 6 feet deep. I'm not sure if that's accurate or not, but I've heard it's pretty deep. Have you experienced it directly?
Not that much, but Wisconsin winters I've had 3 feet, 4 feet.
Okay.
That was like when I was younger.
Okay. Yeah, we get that in DC on a semi, like every few years we get something like that. So It's not the snow. The difference between that was actually 3 to 4 feet of snow is actually not as bad as what we got this past week, because what we got this past week was incredibly heavy. The snow was just thick and heavy, and it caused the trees to droop, and that's why there was so much of a problem. So, like what happened where I lived was one of the transformers just blew out, and I heard it explode. It was about a tenth of a mile from my house. I heard it explode, and all of a sudden my power went out. So
how scary that would be. Ooh.
And it was so the snow was so heavy that 3 trees actually came down across my driveway. So on Thursday I had to get a chainsaw out and actually cut them down. There was 2 of them were about 60 feet in height roughly, and the others about 30 feet in height, but there was just no way to move them. They had completely toppled over onto my driveway. So
I am so glad that you are prepared for these natural disasters, because I think I personally would not have survived. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I don't have a chainsaw. I can't chainsaw trees in my driveway. I don't have that much bottled water. And then you got to go during the time everybody's getting bottled water, where you actually need it really bad. So,
yeah,
props to you for being able to survive that. Not even exaggerating there.
oh, you got a couple of Xavier said 12 feet of snow. He was on vacation in Colorado. That's where he got the 12 feet of snow.
Makes sense.
Interesting. Got a comment saying, "Wow, Xavier, that's a lot." So
that is a lot. That is so much.
And there's Sherry. There's Sherry saying hi. So hi, Sherry. That's Sherry, my friend, in case you're wondering.
Hi, Sherry.
So okay. So before we go too far, we got to make sure we announce our NordVPN for those who want to help support our show. NordVPN is I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Is definitely something I would recommend. I've used it in the past, and it's been very, very reliable. So if you're looking for a way if you want to basically protect your identity, or if you want to try to hide your location, if you're trying to watch movies from a different location, I've heard that works. I haven't actually tried it, but I've heard people say it does work. So if you want to watch movies from another part of the world, take NordVPN. You can use that for that. And I think the original reason I told you I bought it was I bought a video game from Germany, and they wouldn't let me install it on my computer. But then when I used NordVPN, I installed it without any problems. So it was pretty cool. I told
and you can still play it without the VPN now that you have downloaded it already?
Yeah. Once I actually installed it. Yeah, once I installed it, it was fine. I just needed it to activate it, the initial activation. So I just told them. Yeah, I told them I was in Germany, and I pretended I was in Germany, and they let me activate the game without problems. So,
Sweet.
So the affiliate link is in the description below, and we really appreciate that. So that helps support what we're doing here. I appreciate that. So, let's see. We're just going to look at our question from last week, or I'm sorry, not last week, but 3 weeks ago.
It's been so long.
It was 3 weeks ago since we did a show. So here's our question. What is your favorite fictional fast food restaurant or restaurant chain? And not surprisingly, 82% overwhelmingly from Grand Theft Auto, Cluck and Bell, Burger Shot, and Well Stacked Pizza Company. I kind of figure with the kind of crowd we have here, of course, that's what we're gonna get here. So
I mean, we gotta give the shout out to the game we all know and love, the series. So for sure.
But I will say the movie we reviewed, Falling Down, Whammy Burger, 7%. So technically it's second place. So
nice.
So Sherry leaves another comment. Hold on a second. Let's see what Sherry says. Sherry says, "I'm from Sugar City, Idaho. I get a ton of snow. Fun place to race snow machine." So, and it also has a little hand wave too. So
nice.
Let's see. We'll go back over here. So it goes through the comments. I think, well, these are almost going to be fresh no matter what we have here. Yeah, not as many as I thought. Okay. So hold on. I thought actually there's a feature here that I did not know Windows 7 has. You know how I'm always complaining about I need reading glasses? Well, Windows 10 has a magnifying feature, which I found out recently.
Oh, nice.
So now I don't need to.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's good for like viewers and stuff too. I appreciate that. That's nice.
So it's built in. So if you have Windows 10, it's automatically there. Steven Simmons says, I want a number 45. Okay, that's an inside joke from Grand Theft Auto. So in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, there's a part of the game where they go to a drive-in at Cluckin. I think it's Cluckenbell. And the one of the characters says he rattles off a whole bunch of items he wants, and one of them is a number 45. And he takes about a minute or so to take his order. He's the chubbiest character in the game, so it's the ongoing gag that he's chubby and he's always eating. So that's where that's from. Let's see. Okay, he's quoting the whole thing. So the next one down, Jackum Marimum. Sorry, don't know how to pronounce the name there. It's pretty much the same thing. Basically, let's go to Cluckenbell, number 9, number 11. Like he's quoting the whole game right there, the whole thing. So there's the number 45, 2 number 45s. So there's another Grand Theft Auto reference. Let me see. Yeah, these are basically it's just basically a quote from the game. Let's see. What's the next one down? Okay. Here we go. Alfred Gunter says none.
Well, you could leave a comment.
Yeah. Miss Valerie says Freckle from. Okay, I've never played Saints Row. Have you ever played Saints Row?
No, I've heard of it though.
Okay.
No.
I'm not sure what the B. It's probably a word that they didn't want to get they didn't want to get censored. So, yeah. So Freckle something from whatever that is. So okay, I've played part of Saints Row 2, but I never finished it, so I don't know what that is at the top, off the top of my head. I mean, so well stacked pizza company from Vice City, not because of pizzas, because that pizzeria is perfect for police wars. I beat their blank through the glass and they won't enter the pizzeria. Simple, perfect place for cop chases. Okay. Oh, that was Mr. Phillip. So, next one down. Krusty Krab, obviously.
How did that not make the list? How did I forget that?
Yes. How did you do that?
I love SpongeBob, even still.
Let's see. Kiss Best Fan was next. Oh no, I'm sorry, skipping one here. Was it next? Oh, Team Rogers says, "Welcome to Cluckenbell. How can I help you, sir?" Okay, that's when you walk in. There's the character in the game will ask you what you want to eat. So
nice.
Kiss Best Fan says Los Polos Hermanos. Yes, from 2 shows, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So have you seen the shows? Either of those shows?
No, I have not actually.
Okay, so if you've seen anyone who's seen the shows will recognize that right away. So I'm a big fan of Better Call Saul. So let's see, we got the Brandalorian saying, "What the hell, Falling Down?" I haven't thought of that movie in 25, probably more. I remember seeing that in the theater. Oh, same here. So we're probably about the same age here. Then it was out on video, having mom rented, and he's having his mom rented. I guess he's probably a little younger than me. And then me and my little brother spend a whole weekend watching and memorizing the movie. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got to find a certain movie to watch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a good one. So glad we could bring it back.
Let's see. Next one down. Nothing. That's the person's name. What about No Bob's Burger? It's the takeaway. Yeah. So
I can't argue with that. It's a really fair point. I mean, I wish we had more slots for these things, but it was just off the dome. But yeah.
Bra 6623 says Falling Down, Waymer, of course. And finally, Cash Johnny, hashtag Big De Niro Music with a music symbol at the end. Wow, he's certified? Is that real? It's interesting. See a little music symbol at the end?
Yeah.
That usually means that they're verified as an actual artist.
Oh, nice.
The fact that we can all state a large part of the menu of Cluckenbell says it all. Oh, yes. So the fact that everyone knows what they say in the game, yes.
Right. That's awesome.
So, all right, let me get rid of my magnifying glass here. Okay, so yeah, overall, yeah, I it's pretty much expected. Oh, and Xavier comes back and says one more thing. My Windows burst of the snow and started gushing out the window. Goodness.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Whew. So scary.
Yeah. I've never seen I've never experienced snow that deep. I do remember the first time I ever saw like 3 or 4 feet of snow. I walked out. I was like, oh my goodness, we couldn't open our door. It was like, I was probably like maybe somewhere between like maybe 6 and 10 years old. It was like, oh my, I was like, wow. I couldn't believe how much snow was out there. So, but like I said, in DC, it's like every few years. So it became a regular thing as I grew older. But the very first time I ever remember seeing it, I was like, wow.
Cannot imagine. Oh my God.
All right. So do you have a question for our viewers for this week?
For this week, I just am curious. Straight up, do you believe in ghosts?
Hold on a second. Before you go too far, I skipped over Sherry's.
Sure.
Sherry was saying she was waving to Tina when she said hi. So that's who she was waving to you. So.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay. So go back to your question about ghosts again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. So.
That's okay. Do you believe in, maybe how about, do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal?
Ghosts?
Because there could be, some people consider like spirits different than ghosts, or don't call it ghosts or something like that. Because the Winchester is about like a haunting in a haunted house. So.
Okay. That is the correct spelling of paranormal, right? Yeah, just like it sounds. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was spelled differently.
Yep.
Okay. Do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal, or do you want to? I guess okay, we can leave that then. Yeah.
I mean, just to make sure it covers every entity that anybody might be thinking of.
Okay. How would you want to etch this? Just yes, simple yes and no.
Maybe like yes, no, a little bit.
Okay.
And skeptical. I'd like to include that because there are definitely people on the fence, and I would like to know in the comments also, like, what do you think?
Okay, so you're not talking about the diehard skeptics that would just say would probably now a true skeptic usually has an open mind. So
yes, yeah, and that's what I think too. Is like
they're open to the possibility that ghosts exist, but they just need proof. Exactly.
Yes.
What they're looking.
Yep.
So, okay. So how would you say just a little skeptical like that, or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But I'm a little skeptical. A little KAL.
CAL.
Yeah, I think that's right. Please.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
And then I would say for the question, add something to the effect of like tell us in the comments, or like what's your if you have an experience, tell us in the comments.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Or thoughts, something like that. Because people, this is such a ranging question that like I've had my experience, I've heard experiences from other people, and my friends have told me, but I've never had an experience. But I'm open to the possibility, that exactly, like skeptical, but not in the like you have to convince me sense. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So there's some skepticism, but not to the point where you're ready to just outright not believe it, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like exactly, open to the possibility.
Okay, well that's a standard. That's usually how standard skeptics.
Right. Exactly.
Act anyway. So, I mean, even if it's outlandish, it's something that's completely obviously made up and baloney. Even a skeptic will say, just I'm willing to listen to what you have to say, but I'm going to weigh the evidence for and against and make a valued decision based on the evidence that's presented, kind of a thing. So,
yes, definitely.
Like people say the flat Earth movement. So, there's I'm sure you've heard about that. It's kind of erupted over the past 10 years or so. And it's like I'm at that point. I'm kind of like I'm open to the possibility, but I've looked at the evidence for and against. I don't think it's true. So that's the evidence is not. I do believe that what science has proven that the world is round, and we've known that for a long time. So that kind of thing. So this is that kind of a thing. So getting into that for me is going a little bit overboard on the implausibility factor. So let's see. If you had an experience, share it in the comments. Share in comments. Oops. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Maybe I don't care.
Yeah, that works too. That's a good one.
Old faithful there. Okay. Make sure do you believe in ghosts, paranormal? If you've had an experience, share it in the comments. Yes, no, a little bit. I'm skeptical and I don't care. Okay, all set?
Yep, I dig it.
And Sherry's got a couple more responses. Sherry says, I do, and I'm not sure what Sherry was saying. She responded to, sorry, Sherry, I don't remember what you were responding to. So.
Oh, just our question we're asking.
Okay. And then she said, I think ghosts are the loved ones who have passed and are now their family's guardian angels. Okay.
Yeah, that is, I'm sure, one of multiple types of ghosts. Like we talk about this movie, the ghosts in this movie are not bad, but
okay. And then we got this one. Xavier saying, "What was your biggest fear of weather?" I don't know.
Honestly, heat wave for me.
I guess just losing power, like what happened already. So I've lost power here. I've moved into my house almost 18 years ago. It's February the 1st of 2004. And I lost power in 2009 it was internet. I lost it. I forget what it was. I think it was internet I didn't lose power. I lost internet for almost a week. And then I lost, which was crippling my business. Then in 2012, I lost power and internet for 5 days, and the internet for at least, actually power for about 4 days, and then internet for 7 days. That was aggravating. And then it happened again in 2017 for about 3 days, but the power only, the internet stayed up. And then this past power outage, the internet stayed up again, but the power was down for, like I said, for 4 days. So yeah, that's my biggest fear, I guess. What the weather does, I should say, is knocking the power out, or even destruction. Because one of the storm that came through in 2012 knocked down several large trees, and that's what knocked the power lines down in front of near my house. So that's why it took 4 days to get them back up again. So destruction, anything that causes destruction or power outages, those would be my things that I fear the most. As far as
fair.
Not really the weather per se. As long as the weather does, it's what the weather does, I guess, the effect of the weather. So.
Well said.
Alrighty, so we'll come back to that. So the movie this evening, I said Sherry recommended it for us. It was here we go. It was Winchester. Let's see, let me bring it up here. So you and I had never seen this before. This is the first time for me and you. So I think it was the first time for you, correct?
Yeah, I had never heard of this movie.
So it's based on. Are you able to see the screen? I forgot to ask you before we went live.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, and before, I know I should have said this before we went live as well, but we have to be very careful about copyright. The episode we did about a month ago with that British show. Remember the British show we did?
Really, the one that I suggested?
Yeah, we got hit with a copyright. But
no way! Oh, I'm so.
No, the thing is, no, it's fine. I just it took about a few weeks, but the people, they actually came back and said they understood, and they said yeah, and they released the copyright claim, so we're fine. But we still have to be careful though. So, but for about a few weeks, the video was in limbo as far as like how but it was still there. It was just kind of the rights were up in the air as to who actually owned it. But it's gone back in my rights now, so I actually have the rights to it again. So,
wow, we're flying pretty close to the sun here.
So I just want to let you know that so far the most of the people are honoring the fair use claim, because we are doing this under fair. So
well, of all the things so far, I'm shocked it's that one.
Yeah, I was kind of I was kind of curious if that would kick it in, because obviously it's not very well known, and sometimes that stuff flies under the radar, but not this time. So
Wow. Well, this one's pretty well known. So
the before I go again, Xavier says, have you been in a car accident and someone drives off? It happens to me a lot. No, actually, no. I've never been in an accident where someone drives off. So that must be a bad. That sounds pretty bad.
yeah.
So
Well, back to the movie.
so
Thank you, Xavier, for your questions.
so what do we got? So the basic plot of the movie is this character. What's his name? I'm gonna look at his name. Dr. Eric Price, who's played by Jason Clarke. And when I was watching this movie, I recognized him right away. I couldn't remember who it was. I had to look it up. There was a Terminator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger that came out in 2015, and in that movie he played John Connor. So that's where I recognized him from. It was called Terminator Genesis, I think, something to that effect. So it wasn't basically most of the recent Terminator movies are not received very well, and it wasn't really that good. So it was just another one of the most recent Terminator movies that just kind of failed and flopped. Nobody really cared about. So, but he played, and that one, his character, watching this and watching his performance in this and that, he really comes across. I really have to give him some respect there, because he really comes off as a completely different person. He really does know how to act. I will say that. The character he played in the other was so radically different than this. I recognized him, but it's just, he's so, when a person can act so well in a way that they seem so different, you know that they can really pull off they're really talented in what they do. I'm commending this guy because I think he's really good at what he does. So, and he, the character in this one is, he's been hired on by the company of Winchester. Winchester is the company that makes the guns, and they want him to prove that she's crazy because she believes in ghosts.
Yes. Worth noting that this story, although it's like an exaggerated account of, the experiences of the people in the house and this place, like this Winchester home, and the woman at the front of the story, her name is
Sarah,
I know
Sarah.
Well, Marion is the daughter, but Helen Mirren's character is Sarah Winchester. So like Sarah Winchester is a real person, and like she did live in a house that she considered haunted, and like this is a real situation, but it's like I guess like a creative interpretation of like a creative, like historical account, I guess. Would you say it like that kind of?
Yeah. Yeah. An interpretation. It's based on, it's inspired by, I would say, because there's
inspired by.
Yeah.
But yes, Helen Mirren is the widow, and she's the heir to the Winchester gun fortune, and her house is haunted by what she says is the spirits of all of the people who have died from a Winchester gun or Winchester bullets, and they haunt her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the all the ghosts that are in the house. Now, this Sherry explained this to me. While we watched the movie. She explained to me that each of the ghosts are locked into the rooms. Well, actually, it's said in the movie too. So actually, it's not really something, but that each ghost is locked into the room by 13 nails. So that's how and you have to hammer the board has to be hammered. Those 13 nails will somehow keep them from leaving. But what Sherry did go on to say was, at one point in time, 13 was a lucky number, not an unlucky number, but a lucky number. So
I've heard that also, that it used to be a lucky number and then it switched to 7.
Okay. And so that was the number that was supposed to be a good omen or something to that effect, to keep the spirits from leaving each of the rooms. So hammering each board 13 with 13 nails was supposed to be a good thing to keep them from coming out. So But as I pointed out while I was watching the movie, or if you watch it, it doesn't really do a good job because eventually they just leave anyway of their own. They
Like, forget it.
so I was a little confused as to why that was supposed to work, but yeah, they still left, and when they felt like it. So not only that, but they do it twice.
She's like, go back to your rooms.
Yeah. Now, the Dr. Price, his as the story goes along, you don't get his full story until it moves further along. His wife died. She shot herself.
Mm-hmm.
And the relevance of that was that, how would you describe that? The whole situation with his wife. She shot her.
So he is a doctor who, comes to assess the mental state of Sarah, the widow. And he has Eric, the psychiatrist, has his own experience with someone with mental illness, his former wife who shot him. He ended up surviving, and then, well, he died for 3 minutes and was revived, and then she shot herself. So he was actually shot by a Remington, or I'm sorry, Winchester, not Remington. He was shot by a Winchester bullet and died from it, and she died from one as well. So he has his own connection to the home and to the curse. And that's kind of how he gets involved. And he has a different connection than probably anybody else that's really come to the home or been involved with the family. So his wife suffered from like mental illness and ghosts. She saw stuff too. So
Mhm. And as the movie progresses, we see this one particular ghost that shows himself over and over again. It turns out he's a Confederate soldier, former. Where is he? I just had him there. There he is, right there. So, and he's. I'm trying to remember. He was trying to seek revenge. Was that right? On how does that work?
yes.
I kind of forgot how that worked.
So later in the movie, he's a butler.
Hold on a second.
And
Before you go, hopefully Sherry just chimed in here. So you said something here. Only the spirits who couldn't settle their life pain and move on were locked in the rooms. Okay.
yeah, so he, you know, you don't know until the end that he's a ghost, and he died as a Confederate soldier, and he wanted to, like, Sherry said it best, just settle that pain and the deaths of his brothers. And the end part of the movie is really him attacking the family members in the home and putting him to rest by shooting him with a Winchester bullet. So
Yeah, I that kind of sounds like movie logic to me. It's like, it didn't really make any sense. He's already dead, so you're going to shoot him with a bullet that somehow kills him, even though he's already dead. Kind of thing.
well, it's also the bullet that killed him the first time
Right. I
that
know.
he's very upset about.
I mean, they had to find some way to kill off a ghost, and so that's the best way the writers could come up to with doing it.
But I will say that the particular bullet, it was a Winchester bullet. But back to Eric and his wife, he had, when he was shot and she shot herself, I don't know the terminology for like bullets and like gun making and things like that, but he ended up like repacking that bullet with gunpowder and like fixing the bullet back, and he had engraved like a message on there
Yeah.
to like regarding like him and his wife like being together. So that bullet did have like intentional purpose, and it was like a special bullet. So
Yeah, I had it stopped there before. I was trying to see if I could bring that up again. The engraving on the side.
yeah.
Right. And then, where is it now? Maybe it's, there we go. Oh, just had it there.
Oh, Together Forever. That's what it was. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
There we go. Oh, of course. Hold on. Give me a second here.
no, it's so difficult to like. Was it scrubbing when you go through like that? Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
You only turn the sound down so it's not so loud. Okay. Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like I was just trying to lock in on it. The movie there's just too much there. So I'm just gonna jump a couple of frames. Maybe you already put the bullet in there. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, you could see it at a glance there. He tried to put the bullet in there, and that was how he finally was able to stop them, and he disappears. So there you go. Sherry chimed in one more time. Revenge of his brother's deaths. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it. Yes, thank you. I completely forgot about that. Yes, thank you. So, okay, so was something I was going to add, and I forgot what it was now. But these are the ghosts that are locked into the rooms. We just saw them a second ago. There they are, right there. There's like a delay factor here. When I move it, it seems to move, and then it moves. That's why I can't seem to lock in where I need to go.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they don't really show many ghosts throughout the movie, but then right at the end they show a bunch. And throughout the movie, there's a little bit of possession through Sarah's nephew and the redhead you see there. Her actor's name is Sarah Snook. Her name is Marion. So Marion's son is possessed briefly. And then so they go the movie without not showing very many, and then at the end they show a bunch. Like they snuck out of the rooms, like you said.
Which was Sarah? Sarah Snook. Which one did she play? Marion. Which? Oh, she's the mother of the kid. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking it up on IMDb as we're talking here. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. And the at the very end, well, kind of jumping ahead. We don't have to jump to the end just yet. As the movie progressed, I had to ask while I was watching this, why was the boy sleeping with his mother? Did you catch on to that? The young kid with the red hair while he's sleeping in bed with his mother.
So I figured it was. I don't think it was explicitly said, but I figured it was a combination of one. This house has so many rooms devoted to ghosts that there aren't many rooms for people. His dad had died, so it could have been a situation where he might not have wanted to sleep alone. Maybe his mom thought it was best that she stay with him. And I also think that by the time Eric got to the house, there had been, we saw in the beginning, one of the first things you see is Sarah going up to Eric, and he has like a burlap sack over his head and he was possessed. So she goes up to him and takes it off and is like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, they're coming." And so he was having possession experiences before Eric got there. So it could have been also that she was trying to keep an eye on him. It's just easier to make sure, if he did sneak off, maybe he would wake her up, but obviously he never did, and he was possessed. And at one point he tries to jump off the roof of the building. Yeah, I think that's why. My theory.
Of course, if he had jumped off the roof, he landed on him like that, I think someone would have been seriously injured or even killed. It doesn't matter if you catch him or not. That whole scene where he falls off and he catches him, that's
at least some broken ribs.
Yeah.
And he would not have been able to walk after that. I will say that.
Yeah. The whole scene I wanted to talk about, this is something Sherry had pointed out, was that they're constantly building all the time, even at nighttime. Like even at midnight, you'll notice that they're always building. And the
Yes.
reason was because that was supposed to ward off the ghosts, because if they're constantly building, it keeps them away or something. I might be saying that wrong in some way, but that's the general idea. So if you stop working, then that gives the ghost time to come back into play or something like that. So if you
And that is actually true. I looked this up. That's actually true for the real Winchester home. They actually did do that.
right, yeah, that's based. It's based on the actual fact, yeah, of what really happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
is so wild.
so the and also some historical reference. This took place in 1906 when and that was also the year of the Great San Francisco earthquake. So
Mm.
if you're the which really destroyed San Francisco. This was near San Francisco, and it was hit pretty hard. And supposedly during the trivia section of IMDb, it said that some of the rooms were shut down immediately afterwards, and they've never been accessed since that time. Which is, I don't know if that's true or not, but if that's true, that's like well over 100 years. So we're talking like
Wow.
115 years, 116 years now. So so I don't know, but the house itself does still exist to this day. So I don't know if the house itself. I think the interior of the house was actually all sets. With if what I remember reading on the trivia section, the interior shots were not of the actual house, because the house was actually too small, so they couldn't get their camera crews in there. So they recreated the sets in a studio, in a Hollywood set. So, but the exterior shots, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if those were real, if they were actually of the house or not. So,
Mm. Yeah. I'm not sure either.
but yeah, I will say the clothing, from what I know, I'm not consider myself a history buff of sorts. I'm not an expert of this era, but it does look pretty close to accuracy as far as the way they're dressed, the way things look, the style looks pretty accurate. I know sometimes they can be pretty far off, but this looks fairly accurate. For a little bit there, I was I almost gave it to the high level of a Coen Brothers movie, but because that's going pretty high though. The Coen Brothers are usually extremely well in making things look very time specific. They're really good at doing that stuff. But I think it's slightly below what a Coen Brothers would do, but still pretty close. So
Wow. That's nice though. It really makes a difference. If you see like a modern Pepsi can twisted left on set from some, that really it really can take away from everything else. And I thought Helen Mirren's hair was like, I mean, I noticed the hair for women because, I'm a woman and I have hair. It looked really nice too, like definitely old fashioned and cool.
the style, would you say it's appropriate for the style, for the period? I guess it is. I'm not sure. I'm not. It looks pretty close to it for what I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not specifically sure, but I just thought it was like well intentioned, it was like thoughtful and intentional kind of thing. So I liked
Actually,
it. I mean,
Jerry had another comment. His mother slept with him because he was sleepwalking. Okay.
yeah, yep. That's what I was thinking is like related to the possession and doing stuff.
Let's see. Was there anything else? I wanted to jump to the end. I wanted to save that for the very last part here. But yeah, I do want. Yeah, I like this scene with the stairs. I thought it was kind of comical. They're walking around this little staircase. This this part isn't really comical. The staircase itself has this weird. You have to walk around and around and around. This, obviously, the shooting scene is not hysterical. This is supposed to be more terrifying, but the actual staircase was just kind of funny. When the first time they showed, he's like walking. Why is this designed like this? I don't remember how he worded it exactly, but it was really different as far as anything you would actually see. But let's see if I can find that. But yeah, the general idea of that. Oh, there we go. Finally got a good shot of it.
Finally.
Let's see if I can get it on there. No, I can't. Of course not. There we go. Nope. So yeah, the whole thing with the bullet was that it transcended both. It transcended the whole idea that because it had been part of it made sense in the movie. I'm trying to word it. I just can't see how to word this correctly. And maybe you said this already, but it basically transcended both the real world or the material world and the ghost world in some way. And the how did that work exactly? So, and that's why they were able to use it to ward off the guy who was seeking revenge. I can't remember how it was worded. I can't word it. I know it had something to do with that, but here we go. Sherry added the true story is the Winchester daughter believes she had to build to stay alive. Okay, here we go. So let's see. You can jump ahead. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we go to the end of this?
There were a lot of jump scares in this, to the point where it almost didn't feel like it. A lot of those scares to me felt very forced. Like the scene where Helen Mirren was, the boy had the gun to her face. Like I knew that was going to be a jump scare, and it actually did scare me because it's just sometimes when there's a loud like, dun, it makes me jump. But it's not like I didn't see it coming. It's you have a gun in your face. It's it's going to scare you. But within the first 17 minutes of the movie, there was 4 jump scares. So I was kind of overly jumped, and none of those scared me. It was more like dun dun, and it just made me wonder, and I haven't looked up the directors or anything, but is this a scary movie or is it just a movie trying to be scary? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I did jump at parts, but what I think makes a good scary movie is a really good plot twist where it's like, he was the killer the whole time. We're like, oh my God. But the twist in the movie, the big twist was that the butler was actually a ghost and, was trying to kill the family.
Right.
And Helen Mirren, I just found it really, it kind of pulled me out of the story when Helen Mirren, at every point as that's happening, as they're being attacked, she's like, you have to do this. And then he would do that. And she's like, oh, and now you have to do this. And it's like, how do you know every single thing that needs to be done to get this ghost under control that you can't do on your own? And how do you know that he has the solution at every single point? Like, because Helen Mirren, Sarah knew that she knew some of Eric's backstory. She had mentioned that in the beginning of the movie. So it's established that she did know things about him. And it just kind of didn't, it just seemed really stretched and like far-fetched that at every point she's like, you need to load the bullet in the gun and you need to point it at him and shoot him. And it's just like, why couldn't you do this months ago? Like, why? How did you knew he was
That's
like
a very good point.
you knew specifically that your butler was a ghost. Because in the movie she's even like, you see him, don't you? You see him. It's like, you've been seeing him for months. Why didn't you do anything about it? You let him walk around your house, like being a butler. Figure out what to do. So that was then that, when that happened at the end, like, I'm like, okay, you've seen him for months. Like, you just let him take care of your guests or like, but yeah. So that was like the twist. And it just like, it pulled me out when she's like, okay, here's the next step. And it's like, you know what to do. Okay. But that's my beef.
Yeah, she needed to let someone else do it for some reason. for because the plot needed another character or the doctor to, for whatever reason, to do it.
Yeah, and it was the bullet specifically, but it's like at the beginning she could have said, "Hey, I have a butler. You're gonna see him, and I need you to shoot him with that bullet."
Yeah.
But that's not how movies work, because if that, we wouldn't have had a movie if it was that easy.
Right.
So
Now this scene right here I thought was kind of comical, so that's why I stopped right here. Not really. It leads up like it's going to be a jump scare, and then it turns out to be nothing.
yes, yep.
So trying to be careful so we don't get the copyright here. So I'll just keep on pausing it. Oh.
There's. It takes so long to get to this cabinet. It takes so long. This is about how long it takes watching the movie.
Yeah.
Blah.
Okay, Sherry responded back to your comment there. Because the bullet had killed someone and had been refurbished, it was able to go through life and death. That's the thank you. That's
right,
that's
yeah.
okay, thank you. I couldn't remember how to phrase it exactly. Thank you. So okay. So let's jump to the end. So we can to the very end of the movie. It's the where is it? He goes. He's basically he's talking to someone at one point on the phone, and he's basically saying they were trying to convince him that he needs to write her off as being crazy, but he actually comes back and says, "Nope, she's of sound mind and body." So, and so the end is not exactly what they were looking for, and so she's still in control. I don't know how accurate any of that is to real life. What happened in real life? So I don't know what really happened there. So, but yeah, obviously the ghost, anything to do with ghosts is up to interpretation, obviously. So, as far, and I'm sure they're taking a lot of their own. Oh yeah, then they had the little, what happened to here. There we go. She continued to build her house until 7 days up to her death in 1922, and then the Winchester house remains one of the most haunted mansions in North America. So they say. I mean, it's like watching the movie Fargo at the very beginning. This is based on a true story. So how much of this is, is this, is it just because they say it doesn't necessarily make it so. So
Yeah, right. And I mean, in these types of movies anyway, obviously they're not talking, like none of the dialogue is going to be accurate. They didn't make the phone call at that point in the story. They didn't talk to that specific carpenter and they said that specific thing. So, to whatever extent you get to fill in the blanks with your own type of thing, but the frame's there.
So how would you rate? Oh, and here's a picture of the actual, I assume it's the actual person. Hold on. Where's she at? She was there. She was sitting in a chair or carriage.
Yeah.
There she is. But yeah, this, there she is. So
right. And that, I think that the likeness is there for sure, that Helen Mirren could easily portray that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So how would you rate the movie? How would you rate this movie?
I'm going to give it a 5. And keep in mind, I have a very harsh rating system. 5 is average. 5 is average. So it's not dumpster fire. Most people would do 5 as like big thumbs down. But 5 being the middle of the road between 0 and 10, I think it's a solid average movie. I think it's, we pointed out some flaws, but I do appreciate, creative interpretation and inspired movies. And I was really surprised that we were doing a scary movie. I actually thought this would be like a Western, but then when I started playing it, I was like, this is a scary movie. So I was pretty excited that Zoom, you wanted to do this. But I think, it's, not have bad kind of thing. I liked the cast for sure. And I think for a scary haunted house, yeah, I mean, it was a scary haunted house. So
Mhm. Okay.
What about you? What would you give it?
I'll give it for entertainment value. I'll say like a 7 out of 10. So,
Nice.
yeah. So it's fun to watch. I would recommend it. So it's up to the audience's interpretation to believe whether the events are real or not. So but if you don't have to believe in that. If you just want to have a good story and just follow along, probably the best thing is if you know the actual historical events, probably just ignore them. Just to just watch the movie and just enjoy it for what it is. So
Yeah, I will say too that sometimes I get like distracted, whatever. In my head I'm like, oh, like I know what's gonna happen, kind of thing, like look away, just kind of listen, you know. But I didn't watch the full thing through. I paid attention the entire time. So that speaks to something for sure.
mhm.
Um, and there was a lot of jump scares. If you're into jump scares and if you like the jump, you will like this movie. So, but I have a limit, and 4 of the first 17 minutes is I'm reaching my limit. So there's a lot. There's a lot of them.
The I honestly, I guess there were I don't react to jump scares like you do. So I guess I didn't. I knew there. It took you to actually say it to realize that they were actually there. I mean, I just really didn't notice them that much. So probably because I just wasn't really. I don't react to them like some people do. When I was a kid, maybe I would have, but I guess I look at it like it's just a movie. Not to downplay what you're saying or anything. I just didn't really notice them until you pointed them out. They were there, and I watched the whole movie. I just didn't really react to them like you did. So.
Zoom, I think you're just bragging that you don't get scared and you've never been scared in your entire life. You own 2 black cats. The man cannot be scared. You are unscarable.
And if you want to bring up the black cats, technically I've owned 1, 2, 3, 5 black cats in my entire life. So
Wow. There's just something about scariness and Zoom and the occult probably that you're just drawn to. I want to ask you though, I don't think you answered this.
yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I I'm open to the possibility, but I'm not. Usually, I take the side that more of the skeptical side against something, in the sense that
Okay.
I need something a little bit more substantial than people's word on seeing things. So
Okay. So
I've never.
no personal experiences. Yeah.
Let's see. No, just dreams. I had dreams that I was when I was as I've been throughout my life periodically where I'm possessed by some other like a spirit, which is kind of weird, like a really weird feeling. Like I was in a house and my body was possessed by something else. So but that's when I was dreaming. So it doesn't really count, of course. So, but it was a creepy feeling,
Visions.
very creepy feeling though. To have
Yeah, that is really scary. Well, okay.
So,
I'm curious to see what our viewers say about the matter.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I would definitely doesn't matter how you feel about the movie. I would definitely recommend it. It's a pretty fun movie to watch. So,
I agree with that. I agree with that for sure.
so,
Thumbs up
alrighty.
from me.
Let's bring up our question from earlier. Let me see what kind of response we have so far. Looks like well, not as good as it usually is. Let's see. Here we go.
But we've been on break for a while, so that could be part of it as well. Maybe, I don't know how the algorithm works. You probably know much better, but
I've heard
we've
that.
been kind of out of it for a little bit. So we got to take some time to get back in the game here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so do you believe in ghosts and the paranormal? 49% overwhelmingly, no, not overwhelmingly, but majority anyway, with no. Next, 32% with yes, 10% with a little bit, 6% with I'm a little skeptical, and 2% with I don't care. So,
Okay. Yeah. I feel
and
like you got a lot of realists on your fan base. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, take it for what it is, kind of thing. Like, nope. So,
and the no responses. Nobody's claiming that they've had an experience. So anybody who's had an experience, or anybody if you want to leave a fake experience, that would be kind of fun. So we can.
spin a yarn for me so we can read it next week.
Yeah. Alrighty. Did you have anything else you'd like to say before we wrap everything up?
Nope, that's all I got. I really appreciate Sherry for the suggestion. I think it was a really fun suggestion. And like I said, I was really excited to do a scary movie. So what a breath of fresh air on the channel. And I look forward to seeing other submissions. And Sherry set the bar pretty high. So, hopefully we can do some more in the future.
Alrighty. Cool. Well, thanks everybody. And thank you, Sherry, of course, for the recommendation of the movie. And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.